Well, great to be in New York. Been here for 24 hours now, and got to see some of the sights around town, which was pretty cool. Woke up to a blizzard. It's not real cool, but we'll deal with it. So, with that said, I'll take the question.
You mentioned the weather there. How much has that affected you guys, and what did that do in terms of practice today?
Yeah, we didn't practice, obviously, so we won't use that as an excuse. We got a lot done in Morgantown, and we've been talking to the guys just about reviewing what we had already got accomplished. So we'll line up and put our product out there.
How different is this bowl game? How different does it feel because you're playing a team that used to be kind of a pretty intense rival?
Yeah, it makes my job a little easier, probably, to be honest with you, because there is a lot of familiarity with them. We can, pull up the tape from last year and pull up all the tape this year, and it makes sense to us a little bit more than, say, a lot of the Big 12 opponents were this year. For 9 straight games, we were watching an opponent we really didn't know very well. So it made our job just a little bit easier. And then from a motivational standpoint, because there is familiarity with them amongst our players, then probably again makes my job a little bit easier to get these guys motivated to play.
Any academic casualties or any guys who didn't make the trip?
Joey Madsen, that's already been out there, I know, so disappointing that he didn't take care of business. The expectation for our guys is to go to class and to get good grades and leave West Virginia with a good quality education and a degree. And Joey fell short of that, and we're disappointed that he did.
Do you know the decision on how you're going to cover that for the game?
Yeah.
Ready to share it yet?
Nah, not really. That's for me to know and for you guys to try to figure out as soon as you possibly can. I think you understand that as well. I'm not being mean by any stretch of the imagination.
Everybody says it's going to be a shootout. Does that put all the pressure on the defense? What do you think?
Well, every game that we played in this year, everybody says it's going to be a shootout. I'm looking forward to see our defense out there, see if we've made some improvements, and I think we have. I like the direction we're going. Coach Patterson's done a great job of getting guys lined up and motivating them. I think we'll be ready to play. Syracuse got great offense. That's been talked about a lot. They're similar to us. More similar to us than what I remembered a year ago. But good quality quarterback that gets his guys playing hard. Veteran offensive line, quality backs. Good receivers. So they're pretty similar to what we are offensively, and the numbers are pretty similar as well.
Defensively, you talked about Syracuse's blitzes a lot back at home. Can you talk about what that means to not have Joe there in the middle, losing that consistency, losing the guy who's obviously really experienced in the position?
Trying to cost me some sleep tonight, right?
I'm not trying to cause
Pointing
you sleep.
out the obvious. They're a very good, well-coached defense that plays hard. They play with tremendous effort. The scheme is tricky. They're going to blitz us. Last year they had their first 18 blitzes were all different, so that makes it challenging on us from a coach's standpoint. It's going to be challenging for us up front to be able to handle that. Probably going to rely on Gino to kind of see some things more so than we have in the past. Gino's experienced and he understands the game as good as any quarterback I've ever been around, to where he can point out a lot of the blitzes and get us targeted. To whereas, in the past we've relied on the center to do that. I think Gino can do that.
Were you a baseball fan growing up, and can you speak to the kind of unique nature of playing football games?
I really wasn't a baseball fan. When you grew up in Iowa, you really don't have anybody to follow. The Cubs were the closest one, which was 5 hours away. I do have a tremendous amount of respect for the Yankees. I was fortunate to be here this past summer. I brought my son here, and we took in a game and toured all the facilities, and is obviously very impressive. And telling the guys about how impressive it is, and they're anxious to get here to be able to see it for themselves.
Dana, you said you got a lot of good work done in Morgantown, but the last time you worked was last Friday. It's 8 days without a lot of real hitting. What's that do?
Probably had a forfeit. It's not ideal. This is my 13th straight bowl game, and all 13 of them have been a different approach. When it's a different city, when it's a different time, when it's a different opponent, when it's different facilities. Everything's different. you can go back to the same bowl game, and because of timing or whatever, it can be a different situation. So, you know, we knew we had to get a lot of our work done. We got a lot of it on tape. We can meet a bunch and try to refresh these guys. You know, we're going to have to rely on a bunch of older guys like, you know, like Gino and Tavon and some guys that have played a lot of ball to be able to get out there and get the job done.
What was the dress?
Jerseys, some shorts and jerseys and sneakers.
So you weren't taking anybody to the ground in the ball room or anything?
No. Okay. No. I'm pretty sure Coach Patterson would like that.
What was the room like?
About room temperature, about 75. It was good. It was pretty big. It's like a ballroom setting, high ceiling, so we were able to throw the ball around and get some time around setting. It was neat actually. It's kind of like being in our indoor facility in West Virginia, but a lot smaller.
You want to take out a light bulb or anything?
No, not that I know of. I'm pretty sure if they did, they didn't want to tell anybody. Probably had to pay for that stuff.
Tavon do any of his dancing in the ballroom?
A little bit, a little bit of dancing pre-practice until my Joseph happens.
Does that make it more important what you guys did back home in Morgantown before you got up here?
Yes, I think that was extremely important. The fact that we were able to get good work in, we treated those 2 weeks or so like a spring camp or a fall camp, and we were able to get good work in and prepare ourselves for a tough Syracuse team. And then once we got up here, you know, dealing with the situation, there was no drop off because we already done the work. We were already pretty much mentally prepared. It's just about focusing in and making sure everyone's on the same page.
Dana's talked a lot all year about how much you guys did improve going into the Orange Bowl last year. Do you feel like you're making similar strides now in these weeks leading up to this game?
Yeah.
You know, next after the game, just hoping my dream comes true. Probably just go down somewhere and start training somewhere and just try to play myself to the next level.
You any idea where?
It's still in the air. Probably could be in Arizona or probably could be in Florida. I never made a decision yet. But, you know, closer to the end of the week, I might go and make my decision when I want to train.
You know, anything happen like Senior Bowl? Or you...
I'm talking with my agent and my family when the time comes. We just see how they play out.
What have you heard anything as far as where you think you might go? I mean, it seems like the season that you've had, the career that you've had there.
I mean, to my part of the draft. I mean, a lot of people have sent me links and stuff. Some people say late first, some people say early second. But, you know, end of the day, I just want to play in the NFL, do my dream come true. Even if it's first or even if it's fifth. You know, I'm going to get there and I'm going to work my hardest and work myself up.
Talk a little bit about, I mean, so many plays playing at West Virginia. Some people might be looking at your size. Can you talk about that? Because you seem to bring an element that goes beyond your size, toughness, just the way you play out there and how that will affect you. Despite maybe not being the biggest guy out there.
You know, I'm the smallest guy in the world. Like, one thing I always say is about you.
Start.
Well, we want to be a balanced team where we could be able to run and throw the ball. But, I mean, our run game, it was kind of up and down this year. You know, we had some good moments, we had some bad moments. But, I mean, our whole goal in this offense is to be able to run and pass the ball.
Keep it balanced, sure. Stedman, a year from now, Syracuse is going to be playing in the ACC. They're obviously still in the Big East, and they're going to be in the same position that you're in right now with a year of hindsight. What are they going to be telling us in terms of the football team? The travel, what's it going to be like in a different conference?
Well, it definitely will be a whole lot of new traveling going on. You definitely have to go to a couple new locations, and I mean, those are some of the things that we experienced this year. We actually had to go over to the, I would say the middle coast, the mid coast, and kind of adjust to different time zones and different things like that. So I'm quite sure, Syracuse will, they'll have to adjust to the many different things that comes along with being in a new conference.
Was it difficult with all that? You just mentioned it. That had to make it. Was it a challenge, or did it make it harder?
Well, I wouldn't say it made anything harder. If anything, it was a pretty good experience for me, being able to go into a bunch of different states and new cities and, play some different teams. It was good to see some different things. So I wouldn't say it made anything any harder. I mean, you just kind of got to adjust to conditions. Like in Texas, it was kind of hot, but that's about it. Just probably adjusting to the conditions.
What do you see? What are you seeing on the film on Syracuse that you didn't see last year?
Well, we see that Syracuse is a very aggressive team. They've always been like that. Last year, we kind of made a lot of mistakes with not being able to identify the coverages they were in and, picking up blitzes and, just making all the side adjustments that we know and we know how to do now. We're a better offense than we were last year, so some of those things that we messed up on last year, I don't think we should mess up in this game coming on Saturday.
It's been 5 or so days since you've been on the field, and now you've got one kind of full practice and then a walkthrough.
Kind of fun. I like all the bright lights and things, like that. Times Square has been kind of nice. All the people too, it's a lot of people, more than Morgantown.
Christmas in general, how was that being here in New York? Was that a different experience for you?
Yeah, definitely. This is my first time being in New York, so all the movies that had Christmas in New York and all the different things that you see on TV. It was good to be experiencing it, just to see how it is.
Going against Syracuse, obviously excited to play a team that runs the ball first instead of throwing it all around.
As a defensive end, I prefer passing, but I'm fine with either or, running the ball. That gives a chance for us to try to stop the run and then stop the pass.
A lot of people are talking about Syracuse's offense being as good as West Virginia's offense, almost at that level. As a defensive player, do you take offense to that and make sure that this is not like a Baylor game, a 70-63 kind of game?
Well, I'll leave that up to Tavon and Gino and Stephen, that whole aspect. But as far as that, we just have to go out and just stop their offense, and try to stop them from putting points on the board, and give our offense chance to put points on the board.
You talk to the effect of the kind of
time all those seniors are going to be on the field is something you go through every year, But obviously this year is a little bit different because those guys are, extremely talented guys, extremely fun to coach too. I mean, that's one thing that people talk about, talent level, and a lot of times when the best players are a little bit prima donna or whatever. But that's one thing I can say about these guys is there's none of that in them. They really are. They come out, they work hard, they listen. If you get on them, they do the right thing. So I mean, that's probably the thing I'll probably miss more than anything.
Thanks, Sean.
Good. How's it going?
Good. So explain to me why practicing in a bar room today is not a big deal. That's the gist I get, guys. To the same.
That's not a big deal.
The same script is about half speed.
Well, I mean, the reason it's not is because when we were in Morgantown and we sat down and scheduled out practicing, leaving, and doing everything, we made a concerted effort to look. We're going to work out this week like we're playing on Saturday. And so when we left for Christmas, if we played on Saturday, it would have been fine. Everything was in. We had already had physical, mental preparation, and then time to play. Now, the difference is, obviously, we had a little bit of gap, 7 days or so in between there. But it's the same game plan. And all we're doing is just reintroducing it to them. They know exactly what we're doing.
A week ago, with physical, up-tempo days. So one or two practices, leading up a week or two of the game, how much that has a bearing on the game, I don't see any. I think our kids are ready to go. I think once you get into the flow of the game, it's all about the pace of it. I mean, both teams, because of the nature of where the game is being played on the 29th of December, you got to have a break in there somewhere. You got finals, you got the holiday season, the holiday break. So those players, they have to. At some point you're not going to be able to go out. So you're taking 4 days off right there prior to Christmas. What's 1 or 2 days of going out and actually thumping somebody going to really do? I don't think it has any bearing really.
I'm anxious to see what happens next year if you go out and pitch a shutout against these guys and start giving your guys 8 days off before games.
Well, obviously you can't do that just any time of the year, but right now, I mean, there's just with the schedule and the way things are with the bowl games. I mean, you just got to make it try to fit.
Brian Nassib's numbers are obviously much improved from a year ago. Is there a noticeable difference on film?
Definitely. He's just so much, he's more in control. You can tell he's in complete command of the offense. And I think with a strong running game with Smith and Gully has helped that. They've done a great job, I think, in simplifying the run game, and it's very, very effective. Then I think once you move from there, you have about 7 or 8 pass concepts, which I think they really execute very well. And you can just tell he's in such control of the situation. He's a leader. You can tell that he's playing with a lot of confidence.
Is the pace much different than what they did a year ago?
Yeah, you can tell. They're a tempo team. And again, I think playing in the Big 12 has prepared us for that style of play. So, the thing with tempo, if people want to go fast, just call defense fast. We're built for that.
One thing that, we're trying to preach to these guys is that, we're out here doing all these bowl events and stuff, but at the end of the day, we're out here to play a football game. We're out here to win a football game. So we got to do what we're doing all year. More in particular, what we did more in the second half of the year, just play our game. We never really sweat what the other team did. We just play our game and do what we do.
To be here and be back for the second time in 3 years.
Well, it means a lot. I mean, coming back to where we had our first bowl game, my first bowl game, the first bowl game where our team was able to make the postseason. It's the first time in like 10 years. It's great to be back in New York. Because not only it's where we're from, but this is where a lot of our fans are, and a lot of our fans will be able to get to this game, and it's just good. It's a great bowl all around for our program.
How about facing West Virginia again? I mean, I'm sure at the end of last season you guys figured you wouldn't see them again for a while.
Yeah, I mean that's what I had thought, but it gets still happens. It worked out differently, but West Virginia's a great team, and we have a great history with them. And going out and playing them one more time, a team that I faced throughout my whole career, it couldn't really be better for me for my last game.
Brian, Geno Smith was talking about how they kind of knew going into this, and they were looking forward to facing the possibility of playing Syracuse in the past. He said he's kind of had some unfinished business. Did you feel the same way? Did you anticipate playing West Virginia? And if so, what did you think about that possibility?
Well, I wasn't sure who we were going to play. I heard we were going to play maybe a couple teams in Texas or something like that, but I didn't really know who we were going to play until this team came in. But I can see that they have some unfinished business. We played a good game against them last year, and then we came out with a couple wins last time we played them. So, I would be the same way if I was in their situation. So, we know that they're going to be ready to go, and we just have to make sure that we're just as ready, if not more, just like any other week.
But you can tell it's still the same offense and it's structured the same way. They just do a great job running it.
Can you see the difference, I suppose, what they do now opposed to the last time you saw them when they were pretty much in their infancy? So in the middle of last season, middle of the first season, rather than the end of season 2?
It's hard to say. I don't know if I can answer that really. I think they were. I know when we played them last year, they were rolling. They had the one of the top offenses in the country going into our game, so they were doing a great job. And I remember watching the Clemson game and the end of the year there in the bowl game, and just thoroughly impressed with how much more they continue to add to the offense. And he does such a good job keeping the concepts the same and just changing up variances of how they get to things and the way it looks pre-snap and moving some great athletes. And those are the things that I think that they've done a great job with.
When you see a team that you're going to play missing a key piece, do you try to change things to take advantage of that? And can you do that even?
And different plays and stuff. So we always want to bring a couple new wrinkles in so that they're going to have to defend some things they haven't seen, even though it is a lot of the same stuff. So there's always some things in there we want to kind of keep them off base.
Yeah. Even though their defense has struggled quite a bit, what is it that worries you about their defense?
The biggest thing for me is they drop everybody in coverage on a regular basis. They'll only rush 3. So it's funny. A lot of the plays that they've had, everybody says their defense hasn't been very successful, but they're pretty good. They've had some big plays that have kind of just been some breakdowns after the guys run around in the pocket and stuff, and they heave it down, and wide receiver makes a great play, but I mean, they'll drop a lot of guys in coverage, so you have to be able to check it down and be patient and run the ball and things like that. So I think that that's critical, but I mean, that's probably the biggest thing that concerns me. Whenever you drop 8 guys, there's not a lot of great things in the pass game that you're like, ooh, I want to call that because they're dropping every single guy into coverage. So we just have to get a good feel on how much they're going to be doing that and from a pass standpoint. Run game, it's good.
What's it like to go up against an offense that are putting up kind of video game numbers sometimes and games that building out any scoreboard? Is there any added pressure for you and Ryan to try to reciprocate?
I think there's always pressure for us. The good thing is that I like to feel that we're a video game offense too, so it's going to be a fun game. We just know that we got to score all the time. I mean, it's that simple. I mean, that's kind of what we're always looking